Everybody, Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. And I have some parts. I have to make an Easter encounter. Last week I didn't get to run one. I got sidetracked and busy and didn't get around to it. So I have to make my Easter encounter. I do a themed encounter for all the holidays. And this is from the Hate board game. And I want his body for sure for what I'm doing. He's got some like goat feet and stuff. I'm not sure how I'm going to get his head off though. It's on there pretty firm. I don't want to ruin the head. I kind of want to keep it. And I think it's like a separate piece of plastic, but I'm not really sure. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it off. Let me see if I can get some needle-nose pliers on it. No. Alright, we'll just cut it off. Okay, and kind of get rid of any sharp, big, sticky outies. Then I had this deer head and I had this mouse head. Either one I could use as a rabbit head. This is a really rubbery and has a bad seam, and this has a bunch of shit I don't want on it. So I think what I'm going to do is clean up this deer head. And use it to create my rabbit head. It'll just be kind of a long-nosed rabbit. Alright, that nose is just a little bit too big. Okay, and that has like a little bit of a weird seam because I shrunk that down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, this plastic's pretty malleable. I'm just going to kind of round that up a little bit and make it a little more natural. I'm not killing myself in the process, just trying to make it look okay. Something like that. And then I have like a weird place I need to fill in there, so I'm just going to try to twist that head a little bit and make that fit in there the way I want. Let me get a glue stick. Then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to drag glue into that orifice, to that crack. Just kind of fill it up. Something like that. Now I need ears. So for my ears, I'm just going to get, I think I'm going to get this foam maybe. Okay. Make 2 of those. Okay. It looks more like a donkey than a rabbit. But remember, we're trying to make one encounter. Not a long, standing reused enemy. Actually, get that off there. Because what I'm thinking is, I need to do some base work. So I'm just going to get my glue. And drag that around. On the front and back. Get that in there. Then I want to make my ears sturdier, and to do that, I'm just going to paint them with glue. And we're going to clean up around his seam here with the glue, where the super glue or the hot glue is. We're just going to add this here, and it's going to just create a jagged texture to cover up that glue and sturdy help that construction. Then we're going to get a little bit here on the face, just like that. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at what we got here. If we get a toothbrush, we'll clean them up. Something pretty horrible, I'm thinking. Okay. Now, get them on a base, on a paint lid. We'll clear or base coat them. Get the hot air gun and clean them off. I'm just black bombing them with flat black primer. And you can use anything you got. Okay. Now, if you have white, you can do a zenithal or whatever you want to do on top there. I do have white here. It was a little clunky, a little clumpy, I should say, because I don't think I mixed it up and the tip was a little junked. That's all right. We'll make it work. All right, and to make that work to plan, let's get a chunk of cardboard. And a makeup brush. Some white paint. And if you watched the way I painted minis a long time ago, I very frequently use this technique. I don't use it as much anymore. I'm a lot lazier now. But all I'm doing is picking up with the highest areas with the most amount of paint, and as I lose paint on my brush, and with less pressure, I'm going to work my way down the model with less and less highlights. Try not to get too deeply into cracks in the grooves, so those can stay kind of dark. I want his weapon to look good, so I'm going to come over there and hit his weapons and hands with a little bit of effort, just so I have some texture there. And we'll hit him on the back side. Again, we're not spending too much effort in those cracks and grooves. All right. So I want him to be pink or blue or some kind of bunny color. Like a blue-gray maybe. Let's see. I'm going to use Dollar Tree or Walmart paints. First thing I'm going to use is, wait, what's the color? Not that color. This is called Tuscan Teal. I'm going to use this first. It's kind of wet, and it should serve me well for this kind of model. So using a soft brush and my Tuscan Teal. That's too wet, or not wet enough. Okay, I'm going to come up here and hit the fur of his main body and try not to hit his clothing colors. Okay. Anything I don't have to repaint, I don't want to repaint. I had 2 players out last week. One of them is one player who's Jewish. He this is his flesh. We're going to get that in there with the blue then. He's Jewish, so he was celebrating Passover, and then another one had some work drama at his place of employment, and he couldn't make it, so I didn't do an Easter encounter, and it worked out because I didn't really have time to make anything, and I get criticized if we don't get our holiday encounters. People have become so accustomed to having them at every holiday that when I don't do them, they feel like they've been robbed. And I don't have all the time in the world to make these perfect and to do everything you want with them, but I have enough time to make something. Okay, so it's not going to be perfect, but I'm reaching out to him, trying to get every part of him that I can that might be his fur and skin. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. Very, very crusty, easy paint job here. Just like that. Alright, cleaning that brush out. I'm drying him off. Actually, before I dry him off, let me get this ear a little better up here so I can make sure it's the right color. Dark blue is the undercoat. Alright. Now I'm going to get a lighter blue. Any lighter blue will do it. I'm using Laguna. It's like a greenish blue. And I'm going to do a dry brush on him. But first let me dry him off. Actually, you know what? I have a Void Shield blue that would look better from Army War Painter, or Army Painter. And I'm going to use that. So I'm just going to get a tiny bit of that there. And a makeup brush. And I'm going to hit these areas and give it some variation and some detail, but not killing myself to make it too good. Okay. Something like that. So he's got a little bit of tone difference there, but nothing that's going to kill me or break the amount of time I'm spending on this miniature. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to clean out that first brush I had. I'm going to use kind of a medium or a darker brown. Let me see what I got. So I have this melted chocolate, and this is going to be a good base coat for the rest of him. Then I can lighten and darken it pretty easily from there. My brush is still damp from my water. And I might have to get it damper again. And since I have a good two-tone undercoat, I have some playroom where I can make some mess. And if it's a little bit thin and doesn't coat real evenly, it's not going to be monochromatic and look too boring. And remember, you don't want to turn this into an enormous burden because you're using this miniature one time. So we're just doing a really fast make a point kind of job. I'm not display casing this guy most likely, unless somehow he miraculously turns out amazing after I do a dog shit paint job on him, which could happen. I might just decide I like him a lot and he might go on a shelf, but likely he's just going to go in a box, or he'll be given away. Even though Sweeney and I are locked in an epic battle to see who will have the biggest miniature collection, I'm a dumbass and I give miniatures away pretty frequently, unfortunately. Like especially when like my friends have my sons are young, and when they have friends over and they're like amazed by my D&D stuff, I try to send them home with something. Or if one of my friends comes over with a child and they're really into the D&D stuff, I try to give them something because I want people to love what we do here, So even if I have something I don't really want to give them, they really like it, chances are I'm going to make an effort to send them home with that or something close to that they're happy with, so that they can get that in their head that this is something they love, this is something they want in their life. All right, so I'm going to get a lighter brown. I'm going to dry him with the air gun. And again, we're not trying to spend all day working on this dude. We're trying to get something serviceable and play. I'm going to get a small makeup brush. Dab on my light brown. I'm going to get most of that off my brush. Once I get it everywhere on there anyways. And then, I'm just going to come around and add a little bit of detail into that brown. And I really don't care if I get it everywhere, and I don't care if I get a little bit on the blue. It won't kill me. It won't destroy this craft, because we can always come back and post main splashing and do some repairs. Okay, I need a little bit more of that. I'll lighten up here some more. I want to do a little more on the front here. Oh, this is a bone. I just realized that in his hand is a bone, so I need to lighten that up again. And then he's got some skulls and shit on the back here too that need lightened up. Okay. I have ivory. I'm going to get some ivory, but first let me dry him off. There's actually quite a bit of bone on this model, like little bones and fangs and shit, so let's see what we can do with that. Using the same brush, I got my ivory, and we're going to get a lot of that off. And we're going to focus on the bone first. Okay. And we're going to hit all the bones that are really sticking out. We're going to focus on lightening up those areas first. We're going to try not to hit every inch of him if we can help it. We want to make sure we're getting spikes and bones. And you want to tap those skulls a little bit if you can, without making life too hard on yourself. There's some skulls, there's some spikes, skull. This artist really liked the bones and skulls. Okay. Now we're going to get that light blue again real quick. We're going to put that ivory away. Okay, I'm going to wipe a lot of that out. This brush isn't super clean. It's a little dingy. Then I'm going to come over here on areas where I need it to be blue again. I'm going to mix that yellowy, dirty, gungy, bluish tan. And I'm just going to kind of reclaim a little bit of that blue. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just reclaim it a little bit. I kind of want his hands to be that color, but I don't think I can salvage those as easy. Yeah, there's not going to be easy to salvage. All right. Metal plates. I'm grabbing them for the first time now. I'm grabbing a brush I would use on miniatures. This is just gunmetal gray. My brush is damp from my mouth. And I'm going to clean these plates with this and hit them all. And you're saying, oh, that's kind of bright. Yeah, well, you know what? We didn't talk about a wash, and this miniature is going to come together from a wash. It is. You're probably thinking that's just not realistic, but it will. That's what we're going to use. We're going to use a tone, military wash, or whatever color what is it that I choose. One of my army painter washes. Okay. And we don't have to hit that entire plate. It doesn't have to hit every corner. It doesn't have to hit every groove. We're more focused on variation and some metallic being present than we are quality here. Because again, this is going to be used one time. Every Easter I use a different enemy. For those of you that were watching last year, I made 2 giant goofy bunnies out of, I think, tinfoil. And they killed one of the party members, ripped him in half. It was an effing travesty. Okay, so I think that's all the metal plates. Nope, there's some more there. Hold on. Alright, get that one a little better. Just come through and make sure I got all my metal plates done. Okay, cool. Get my metal spikes that are blatantly metal. A little bit of water. Get these spiked arm guards. And we're going to get this metal on the weapon here. Again, not going for perfect. He's got some of that chainmail. He's got some metal on his gauntlets. He's got some metal plates here. Another one here. Those are probably supposed to be leather, and they just didn't take the time to make any kind of texture that would cover that, make that work. Okay. So I really want to do something blue with those hands. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that light blue, and I'm just going to do kind of a risky wet screw up move here. That's very, very wet. And I just want to drag that into the cracks a little bit. Just like that. And it's not going to match my model very well. But I just want those to have some kind of blue there. I'm not doing his eyes yet. We're going to do the eyes after we do the wash. There's going to be some other little touch-up work we do. So now I need to worry about this base. So for the base, I'm using dark brown. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. I'm going to use that medium brown that I did his base coat in. I'm just going to get a little dab of that. Okay. I'm going to create some variation. Grab some of the sticky uppy parts of my terrain. Make it a little more exciting. Give it a two-tone. Okay, then I'm going to get a brush, some black paint. Oh. I'm going to do around the outside. And then anywhere where I didn't put any of that baking soda, I'm just going to paint that black. There's a little faux barrier of where the fantasy world ends and the real world starts. Okay. And then down here on his feet, he had some metal plates I missed. But I can't do the metallic over the blue. It won't show. So I'm going to just do black down there and then come back with a metallic. These don't have to be perfect. Again, keep in mind, unless you're making a display miniature that you're going to have as your regular repertoire of shit you're using, it's okay to be half-assed. There's no rule that says you have to kill yourself. Okay, I'm not even going to worry about making those metallic. I am, however, going to clean that one up a little bit. Okay. We're going to dry him. We're going to get a kind of a thicker, chunkier brush and something to put a wash in. And I have some different washes here in some different tones. I have one called Military Shader. I'm going to thin this out and use it. It's a little chunky and thick for this application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it in my cup here. A good bit of it. And I'm going to thin it out using some speed paint medium. And then I want to go really quick. I'm going to get a bigger brush, actually. I want to go really quick because I don't want to spend a bunch of time to where I am undoing any of my work. Okay? So I'm going to drag it around and catch any detail that can be caught. I'm not going to spend too much time painting. I'm going to get it in to the cracks and on the skin and everywhere. Just like that. Need more? Okay. Okay. And once you're confident you've got everything you want covered, you're going to come back and hit the spots where you did too much, or the spots where there's smears that you don't like, with a piece of cloth or whatever you got. Okay, I need to get back in here a little better. Okay. So I just don't want too much globs around the face. I have quite a bit of glob there. His knees are a little globby. His weapon's way too globby. His hands are a little nasty. Then I have a lot of just flat surfaces on the top back here that I don't want to lose the metallic on completely. Okay. Top of the ears, lighten those up a little bit. Something like that. That'll do what we need it to do. Let's hit him with the air gun. It's not perfect, but it'll do what we need it to do. I'm going to get a really thin brush and an off-white color. I'm using Mummy Robes, if I can find it. This is just a size 1 miniature brush. I'm going to hit that eye. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of that brown, a little bit of that Mummy Robes. Just like that. I'm going to come back on some of these skulls. Lighten those up. Bones a little bit, just the biggest ones probably. Need a little bit more of that Mummy Robes. Let me put my shades away. I'm going to clean up my main bone weapon here a little bit in some spots where it tells a better story with some white to it. Come up here and get the rest of my bone work that I was doing. Lighten up my skulls a little bit more where they need it. Let's look at those ones. These arm bones needed it. I think that was a metal spike I just hit. That's okay. Something like that. Now his eyes. I intentionally see I made that eye kind of bigger. I did that on purpose. And that's okay. I want mine to be a little weird and a little scary. I'm looking for a pink color. I'm thinking I'm going to use this barbarian flesh. Something like that. And I'm going to do his fingernails. In pink too. I don't think anybody's going to really notice that detail. It's just something fun I'm doing for me. Now for his eyes. Dragon red. I'm going to do his irises. And I'm going to give him a little bit of love at the mouth there. Stupid. Alright. Last but not least, I have my black paint here. Get a little bit more. I'm using a fractional brush. This is a double aught. Oh, this is a 5-aught. Fractional brushes are just tiny little brushes. Then I can kind of play around at this point and figure out if there's any spots I want to add some color or some different variation. To do that, I'm going to use kind of a shitty brush. In this color called Dark Stone. And I'm just going to hit any kind of leather straps or strings or anything that are blatantly, supposed to be a different color. And I'm just mixing it in with whatever other shit is there. Darkening it up a little bit. And I'm not going out of my way to make anything perfect. Again, quick paint job. I could come back and do some more color work here and there, I'm seeing. But truth be told, I don't want to put the effort in. I'm going to do a little variation on these plates down here on the bottom that I didn't make metallic. Okay, he serves the purpose I need him to do. He's a horribly cursed orc. Not orc, I'm sorry, ogre, who lives among other ogres as their chieftain and ruler. And he's going to get killed on tomorrow, or today, later today, he's going to get killed. And yeah, I did shave my balls for this fight. That's a joke. So I'd like to get some greenery on the base. I'm going to get a crappy brush. I'm just going to clean up a little bit of this moisture right here that I didn't like. There was a couple spots I had it. I'm just going to spread that around and pick that off. And that's real easy to do. Got some spots in the back I'm not real thrilled with. I'm going to grab a little bit of that and just mush it around with my brush and clean that up with this. Wipe it off. Come back and get some more. So it'll dry a little faster. And that tells the story of a horrible, devolved, or mutated, or whatever the hell magically happened to this ogre who maybe he made a wish that he could be a bunny because he thought bunnies were cute, and it morphed him into this horrible creation. He's going to have a pounce attack that he suffers a minus to his attack but gets a bonus to his damage. He's going to be able to double move. He's going to be able to quadruple move with no penalty. He's going to be able to leap over things twice his height. I don't know what all he's going to be able to do, but he's going to be a bunny warrior. So let's get a little bit of clear glue here and just give him some flocking on his base. So we got that, and we're just going to grab this piece of cardstock here. All right, we're going to grab this piece of barbecue skewer. Oh, here, dumbass. We're going to get this really crappy plastic brush. We're going to spread some glue. Just like that. A little bit of flock. And you know what would be cool? Do I have any super glue out still? I lost it. I had some super glue here. I don't know where the hell I put it. Alright. We're going to get a little bit of super glue. We're going to drop it there. And with a piece of cardstock, I'm going to drag that around. And even up onto that flock a little bit. And make the ground look wet. Okay. Sweet. Alright. Less than an hour. Completely, we built out of 2 dumb things and made our own ears. It's going to be an awesome one-time use fight. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's a cool build. And it'll definitely be a good storytelling build. So, I'm going to let him dry. I'm going to clear coat him. And I'm going to throw him at my party tonight. I hope they're amazed and happy at him. I'm sure they will be. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment. I especially love those. And all the things that please the algorithm gods. And maybe get this video some exposure and we get some new viewers in here. Blah, blah, blah. Happy Easter. Very late. Bye.